Hello, my name is Kellie Rottman, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to review my presentation. I want to preface it by apologizing in advance for any coughing episodes that I might have. I am currently recovering and on the tail end of a pretty nasty cold, so I just wanted to apologize for that. Today, I will be sharing the values, expectations, and ethical commitments that guide me as an educator. Education is a constantly evolving field, and as teachers, we have to learn how to grow with it. My philosophy aligns with Paget's idea that development happens in stages. Just as students grow through their stages of learning, I believe educators grow through stages of professional reflection, experience, and continuous improvement. This presentation is going to highlight the foundational elements that shape my teaching practice. Again, as an educator, I view teaching not as a static job, but as a profession that requires adaptability, reflection, and a willingness to evolve. Every group of students that comes into your classroom brings different strengths and challenges and experiences, and that always means that I have to remain open-minded and flexible. My goal is to create a learning environment where students feel supported academically, socially, and emotionally, and where my own professional growth directly benefits their learning and development. Personal values. My core values, respect, compassion, integrity, service, and fairness, are the foundation of my classroom culture. These values guide every decision I make, from how I manage behavior to how I communicate with families and my colleagues. Respect and compassion help me to create strong relationships with my students, which is really essential for engagement. Integrity and fairness guide me in maintaining consistency and equality. And service reminds me that teaching is ultimately about supporting my students and about contributing to the school community in different and meaningful ways. When students feel respected and they feel cared for, they're far more comfortable taking risks and engaging in meaningful learning. Understanding my biases. One of the most important parts of being an ethical educator is recognizing that all of us have personal experiences and beliefs that shape the way we see the world. As teachers, we have to be willing to reflect on those biases so they don't unintentionally affect how we treat students or how we set expectations. I try to regularly reflect on how my background influences my instructional decisions, and I actively work to ensure that my perceptions never become barriers to my students' success. This means checking whether my expectations, excuse me, are maintainable, whether I'm giving all my students the same opportunities, and whether my choices support each learner appropriately. Students deserve a teacher who is self-aware and willing to grow, and that is something that I take very seriously. Ethical behaviors in the classroom. Ethical behavior is central to how I define professionalism. In my classroom, that begins with prioritizing confidentiality and always protecting my students' dignity. Whether it's academic information, personal challenges, or any family concerns, students and families need to be able to trust that their privacy is being respected in my classroom. I also make it my priority to communicate with honesty and cultural sensitivity. This includes being clear with instructions, consistent with expectations, and mindful of how different students may interpret or experience classroom situations. Following school policies and state laws isn't just a requirement, it also sets a standard for professionalism that students learn from as well. Excuse me. Cultural framework. I believe strongly in celebrating and honoring the diversity students bring with them. That includes diversity in language, in culture, ability, and identity, and in lived-in experiences. A culturally responsive classroom helps students feel represented and they helps them to feel respected. When students see their backgrounds reflected in lessons, in materials, and in discussions, they become more motivated, more confident, and more engaged. Part of my cultural framework includes incorporating diverse perspectives into instruction, avoiding one-size-fits-all approaches, and trying to build relationships that recognize and value what each student contributes to the classroom. What high expectations mean to me. For me, high expectations don't mean pushing students beyond what's developmentally appropriate or about putting pressure on them. It means to truly believing that every single one of my students can succeed. I try to model perseverance and responsibility so students see what a growth mindset looks like in action. I use data and ongoing feedback to support student progress and help them take ownership of their learning. High expectations also involve providing the right scaffolds and supports so students can reach their full potential. When students know that I believe in them, they begin to believe in themselves. Excuse me again. Effective communication. Clear and respectful communication is essential to strong teaching. With students, this means giving instructions that are accessible, offering feedback that is constructive, and listening to their needs and perspectives. With families, it means being transparent, timely, and approachable. I want families to be able to feel like we're partners in their child's education. And with colleagues, communication helps to build trust, collaboration, and consistency across all classrooms and all grade levels. A supportive teaching team benefits students just as much as it benefits teachers. Technology and ethics. As technology becomes more integrated into education, it's important to use it responsibly. I try to evaluate digital resources for accuracy and bias, follow district policies, and to teach students to use technology safely and ethically. This includes digital citizenship, responsible research, and understanding how to navigate online spaces. Empowering students to use technology wisely is essential preparation for their future. Standards, laws, and policies. Another part of professional practice includes adhering to district, state, and federal policies. This includes maintaining confidentiality through laws like FERPA, following professional conduct expectations, and upholding school guidelines. These policies exist to protect students, they exist to ensure safety, and to create a consistent and equitable learning environment. By following them consistently, I make sure to model professionalism and contribute to a stable school culture. Professional learning goals. My current professional learning goals focus on strengthening differentiated instruction to better meet diverse learning needs, enhancing my use of data to inform decisions, and on deepening my cultural competency. These goals help me refine my practice and ensure that I'm continuously improving in ways that support student success. Professional development interests for PLCs. In PLC settings, I'm particularly interested in collaborative data analysis, structured literacy, and science of reading approaches, and social emotional restorative practices. These areas help support whole child development and promote instructional consistency, and they help to create opportunities for teachers to grow together as a team. Impact on future practice. Everything I've shared, my values, my ethical commitments, my goals, all of these directly impact the teacher that I become. Collaboration helps me continually refine instruction. Reflection helps me adjust my practices to meet my students' needs. Professional learning ensures that I remain responsive to curriculum changes, student diversity, and the expectations of the school community. Ultimately, my goal is to create a classroom where students feel supported, challenged, and truly valued. In conclusion, my teaching practice is rooted in ethical behavior, respect for diversity, high expectations, and a commitment to ongoing professional growth. I am dedicated to serving students with compassion, integrity, and a desire to continually improve. I look forward to the opportunity to positively contribute to your school community. Thank you so much again for your time.